If you're like me and you're planning your first trip to Coachella, or you're just looking to level up your festival experience, in today's episode, I am joined by content creator and Coachella's local legend, Angel Chavez, to break down everything you need to know about this iconic festival. Hey guys, welcome back to Rave Culture Cast, your weekly guide to the EDM community, music festivals, and more. I'm your host, Emma Capotis. What is up, fam? Nice to meet you. If you guys are new here, hello, welcome. So excited to have you here. Thank you so much for tuning in. You guys are joining a good one. I'm super excited to be covering Coachella. I want to say for the first time, because honestly, guys, this is episode 243, but I do not think we have fully covered Coachella yet on this podcast. So if you found me through this content or through Angel, our guest today, welcome. I'm super excited to have you. If you are a returning Ravecaster, what's up, fam? Love you. Thank you so much for being here. Like I mentioned, I'm going to Coachella this year for the first time. That's my excited face if you're not watching on YouTube. Honestly, very excited. This has been a long time coming. I've had like mixed feelings about the festival over the years, and honestly just did not know enough about it. And in more recent years, the dance music lineup has been speaking to my soul. The stages are incredible, and I'm just so excited to be going weekend one this year. So we'll dive into the details today. I want to introduce my guest to you. But first and foremost, a word from one of our sponsors. You already know if you've been here for a while, guys, Loop Earplugs. Boom, my favorite earplugs. Today I'm going to be showing you the Experience 2 earplugs, which if you didn't know, Loop makes high fidelity earplugs that are super comfortable. They protect your hearing from long-term damage, tinnitus, that ringing in your ear, and it is an absolute staple for me. So when you get your Loop earplugs, it comes in this little case. The Experience 2 has extra tips on the end to best fit your ears. You have different color options in here as well. This color I got here is rose gold because it was speaking to my soul, and it's absolutely stunning. Honestly, Loop earplugs just remind me of jewelry, but you pop these right in your ears. This protects up to 18 decibels of sound. It filters the sound so you can still hear the music clearly. It's not going to affect your experience. It's not going to sound muffled. It's just going to protect your hearing. So if you're somebody that likes to be up in the action, behind a speaker, whatever it may be, shout out Loop earplugs. My discount code for 15% off is Loop-Emma Capotis, my name. So Loop-Emma Capotis, save 15% off at Loop. Also want to shout out, they have a custom collab this year with Coachella, and they have a beautiful new design for Coachella. It's gorgeous. I'll pop up photos up here. That is also on sale right now. My code does not apply to the Coachella earplugs, but if you guys want a little keepsake, feel free to get the Coachella earplugs. Otherwise, my code applies to any Loop earplugs. So shouting that out. It's always going to be in my bag at every single festival. All right, with that being said, you guys, here is what is in store for you in today's episode. We are going to cover Angel's background. My guest, like I mentioned, he lives right in Coachella Valley. He's been there over 20 years. He's been attending Coachella since 2009. So he has seen it go through all kinds of changes from when it was, they were selling single day passes to what it is now. So he was somebody I found through YouTube because he has incredible content on Coachella. Always watched his videos. I never even had the tickets. I just liked his information, and he just had so many good videos. So he is like the Coachella guru. If you look him up on YouTube, you've probably run into his content before. So Angel is the perfect person to give you this ultimate guide. We're going to cover a little bit about how Coachella has changed over the years, kind of through Angel's lens and what he's seen. He's going to give us a stage breakdown, share some of his favorite music that he's seen in the past. We'll talk lineup highlights for 2025. Obviously, we will both be there. Some Coachella festival hacks. So again, from him being a pro, this is what you need to prepare. This is how to thrive at Coachella. Some accommodation options. So we're talking camping versus hotel versus Airbnb, like what's the best option for you, how to stay within your budget when you're buying food and alcohol on site, and then how to navigate the festival like a pro. So it's a long episode, but we got everything that you need to be covered in this. And the last thing before we dive in, I know this is a long episode, but the timing could not have worked out better, you guys, because I got my Coachella box in the mail today. It just arrived like literally 30 minutes ago. I haven't even seen it, haven't opened it. I wanted to open it on camera with you. So here is what is inside the Coachella 2025 box. Let's do an unboxing together. So here is the Coachella 2025 box. What's really exciting about this is honestly, I haven't gotten an actual box from a festival in a long time because I do work with a lot of events. So I usually just like get a wristband or will call. So to actually have a beautiful box for my first Coachella, we have the wristband, really gorgeous wristband. It's like orange and blue, sparkly, super excited about that. Then we've got some little Coachella stickers. Oh, this is like a car decal, I think. Coachella stickers. Then you get a little welcome guide, which again, very exciting because I am a first timer. So this has information on getting there, exploring the festival, information on the live stream. And then we have this like little guide in here. So let's take this out. Oh, this is so pretty. What is this? So this envelope opens up. Oh, it's a vision board. That's sick. It says this is your personal Coachella vision board. Map your dreams for 2015. Sick. So you can put like little photos and stuff on it. That's really, really cool. And then hang it up and share it. Amazing. Okay, so we have some other stickers. Oh, this is really funny. This is actually so funny. It's like a little sticker thing with like, these are the artists I need to see. This is who I can't miss. Like first timer sticker, solo cella, booed up cella, like your relationship status, your name. That's really fucking funny. Different stages. Same thing. We've got like all different food. This is really, really cool. Oh, and then one more thing. Okay, this last part, it's like an accordion. It says pull from here, pull from here. Whoa. That's so cool. It says, see you in the desert. I don't know if you guys can see that at this angle, but that is sick. It looks like another piece of artwork that's going to be at Coachella. Wow, really, really beautiful box. I'm impressed. I'm excited. Okay, I cannot lose my wristband, that's for sure. Beautiful, and there we go, my first Coachella box. I don't know if I mentioned yet, but I am going weekend one. I'm super excited. I can't wait. I will be vlogging the whole experience, so you guys will be able to come along with me. Alrighty, fam, long enough intro. Let's get into the episode. Please join me in welcoming Angel Chavez to the episode. Cool, well, we'll dive right in, you guys. I'm kind of already catching up with my guest here, but I have on somebody who is my resident, all of our resident Coachella gurus, YouTube guide, amazing content creator. We have Angel Chavez. Did I pronounce that correctly? I hope.
Yeah.
Chavez. Okay.
Yeah,
yeah. So he's been like my go-to channel to watch for years now. Been a fan. I never had plans to go to Coachella. I just found him through his content, loved his festival tips and advice. And now this year I got my tickets. I'm super excited. And there was no one else who I would want to have on for our first like Coachella episode. So we're going to go over all the things. This is your ultimate festival guide. We're going to ask all the questions, get hype for Coachella this year. So we have the local legend on. Angel, welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me on. Like I said, like I told you before we started, it's like I've been looking forward to this episode for a long time as well. So
Yay.
Can't wait. And what weekend are you going?
Weekend one.
Weekend one? Okay, cool.
Yay. Or do you go both weekends? That was one of the questions somebody asked you.
Yeah, I'm going both weekends.
Beautiful. Okay. I love it. Okay. So we're going to go over all the things today, but I want to just like kind of dive into Angel a little bit. You kind of were catching me up, but can you tell us about yourself? Where are you from? How long have you been into the music scene? And maybe a little bit about your content and how you got into creating content as well.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm Mexican. That's like my first thing. I'm Mexican. And when I got to, right now I live in the city of Coachella, like the official, but the festival doesn't happen in the city of Coachella. So it's kind of like confusing. It happens in the city of Indio, which is only divided by like a street. So the whole thing here is called the Coachella Valley. It includes Palm Springs as well. That's like really famous city here. But I'm here. I've been living here for 23 years already.
Wow.
And how I got to making YouTube videos was in 2015. I was driving out of town for work and I would listen to a lot of audiobooks, and then I would go on YouTube to kind of see what books to read. I was like, oh, let me go watch some reviews. And then after I've done so many, I was like, I could do the same kind of videos. Like, I'm already listening to these books. Let me just talk about these books. And I actually started my YouTube. I already had a YouTube channel, and I already had uploaded a Coachella 2011 video.
Okay.
It was like highlights of 2011 with the family camcorder that we took inside. And that was my only Coachella video. But for the longest time, I didn't do anything. Then 2015 rolled around, decided to do book reviews. Then little by little got into movie reviews and movie first trailer reactions,
Okay.
things like that. And then eventually, fast forward to like 2018, I made a reactions video to Coachella 2018 lineup. And that video
Mm-hmm.
got like 10,000 views. And I was like, oh, what? That's crazy. Because all my videos were getting like 200 views at the time.
Right.
And then in the comments, people are like, oh, you got tips for first timers? Because I mentioned I had gone for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I made a tip video. And then that's when the light bulb kicked in. I'm like, wait, there's nobody talking about anything about the festival because
Mm-hmm.
the only people that talk about Coachella are like the big influencers that take over the space, like Emma Chamberlain or
Mm-hmm.
James Charles, like blogs or something. So
Yeah.
it's like they're getting a different experience than the average person and had been going for a long time. And I'm like, let me just kind of tap into this. So that's kind of how I started.
Love it. No, I'm so happy you're here, and I'm glad you said that. I just did a TikTok the other day about that because for me, I go on YouTube to search, and I'm looking for like what is the experience actually like through the vlogs. What does it look like? How far are the stages apart from each other? What do I need to know? And I felt the same way. Like Emma Chamberlain was maybe like I could be wrong, like 18, 17 when she posted the first Coachella vlog that I saw, and like I watched it through her eyes, but I was like, I'm in my mid 20s. Like I can't really relate to a 16-year-old girl right now in her Coachella experience. And that's how I felt this year too. I was like looking for people's vlogs, and it was either like really, really big influencers who I adore, but I was like, their experience is a little different, or it was like super, super young people. And I was like, their experience is also going to be a little bit different than like me in my 30s now. So I love that you have your content and you've covered like everything under the sun I could probably imagine at this point with your channel. But I'm so excited you're here and creating content. And I want to know a little bit about your Coachella journey because you've lived in the area for that long. But what was your first Coachella? And do you remember what like drove you to go to that one?
Yeah. So my first Coachella was 2009. So this is before Instagram was even created, like
Yeah.
before Snapchat, before TikTok. So it was 2009. I used to go to. I actually got free tickets, and back before 2011, you could actually get single day passes to go to Coachella.
Okay.
So I went to this. It's called the Indio Teen Center. I was there on a random Friday, and they were giving out free Coachella passes for the weekend. Like Golden Voice donated passes to the local program or
Wow.
whatever. They're like, "Oh, you got to pick one day." I didn't even know who was on the lineup.
Yeah.
What I had heard growing up was like, "Oh, Coachella!" Like people are walking around naked and doing drugs, and like, "Oh, that's that's." I didn't know anything at the time.
Yeah.
So I picked Friday. The reason I picked Friday is because there was a Mexican rock band called Molotov that's one of the only names I recognized in the lineup at the time. So I
Mm-hmm.
was like, oh, and then Paul McCartney was a headliner.
Wow.
So I
Okay.
picked Friday, and I got 2 tickets. I ended up going with my sister, but when I first walked in, like I didn't know what to expect. It's like a lot smaller than what it is now. The
Mm-hmm.
fields were a little bit smaller, less stages and stuff. But even then, it's like walking in there, just seeing how beautiful it looks. There's one artist playing here, there's another artist playing there, and then like I was just blown away. Like I got to see the rock band that I liked, and then watching an artist before them and an artist after that I had never heard of. Then you
Mm-hmm.
see people speaking other languages, and I was just introduced to this world of festivals. I was like, "Whoa, this is crazy!" Like I didn't even know this existed. So that's actually how I got to go for the first time.
Damn. I love that you just like took a risk and went anyway. This is gonna get me excited because I love talking to people who are passionate about a topic, and I like for you being like a Coachella expert. I feel like that's kind of how like my YouTube was for a while. It was like so EDC Vegas focused, and a lot of people found me through that content. But I can't even imagine how crazy it is for you to look at the festival and watch it evolve. Like when you walk around now, especially going into 2025, are you like, holy shit, look at the size of this
It's
festival now?
crazy now. Yeah, it's so insane. Um, I've seen the evolution. So then I went in 2010. I only went one day as well, and then 2011 when I turned 18, I the Coachella passes went on sale right before my 18th birthday. So I told my parents like the only thing I want for my birthday, don't buy me anything. I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
party. Just $300 at the time. It was $299, $100 per day basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I just want to go to Coachella. That's the only thing I want. Like I want to go for 3 days because I had only gone the one day.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen the evolution from that was 2011. They made it mandatory 3 days, and then the year after they made it 2 weekends. So it used to be only
Okay.
one weekend. In 2012 they made it 2 weekends. So I saw the evolution of that. Then in like 2015 they expanded the festival. So Coachella takes place in a polo field. It's just a large area. They have They have all kinds of events throughout the year, but they kept buying more land in there to expand the festival and getting more permits through the city. So I've seen it just get bigger and bigger, go from like 80,000 to 100 to 120,000 people. So
It's crazy.
now it's just so massive, but it's pretty cool. Once you see it, it's
Yeah.
like you understand the energy, you know?
I have like I pulled up the map from last year too, because like I'm just getting like so excited now. So I'm like looking at everything and I can't wait for all of that to come out. And I think I know about the festival, but I don't really know. Like I don't think I've like looked in depth. And when I kind of dove into the 2024 map maybe like a week ago, I was like, wait, I actually did not realize how many stages this was, how many VIP sections. Like I couldn't actually believe like how many art installations and everything. So that's what I'm excited to do. Like when you first have that first festival experience, it's like kind of like putting the videos and just seeing it in real life and the scale and like the million photos I've seen of it forever now. I'm like, I just can't wait to be there in person and like actually feel it and experience it and see the size of everything. And it's just like amazing. And I can't wait to see what they do for 2025 as well. Like, do you typically know when the map comes out? Is that probably soon?
The map always is like right before the festival starts. They always wait to the last
Okay.
minute. So maybe the week before the festival, they'll drop the map. And I know the set times, they don't drop them until like that Thursday, maybe that Wednesday before the Friday. So they literally
Damn.
wait to the last minute. It
Yeah,
kind of
that's gonna
sucks,
send
but
me spiraling.
I know. I think, I don't know, was it last year or 2 years ago? Like people already camped on Thursday and they still hadn't dropped the set time. So
That's
people can't
crazy.
even make the plan. Um, because Coachella has been doing this the last three Coachellas, they've been adding like a big name on the set
Mm,
times that is not even on the lineup. So in 2022, they added Arcade Fire, which had previously headlined Coachella 2011 and 2014. They
okay.
added them like at 6 p.m. out of nowhere, just when they dropped the set times. Boom, 6 p.m. The first
Mm-hmm.
Coachella after COVID, surprise. And then 2023, they dropped the set times on Thursday, and it was Blink 182 as a surprise 6 p.m. set.
Mm-hmm.
Like just randomly. And then last year was Vampire Weekend, Weekend One, and Kid Cudi Weekend Two. So this year
Awesome.
they're still gonna they might add a big name out of nowhere, just like a random
I love
6
that.
p.m. Which kind of
Well,
sucks because like you're like, damn, I wanted to see this artist, but now it's like, should I go see that artist? And then it's so difficult.
the lineup, like I want to dive into that a little bit. We'll spend some time here because it's like that is such a big part of it, just because it's a multi-genre festival and because it's like to me celebrity tier. Like when you're having Beyonce and Lady Gaga headline a festival, it's fucking crazy. Like when are you gonna see them? In my opinion, so I always was dissecting it, and I should say this from the beginning. I was a hater for a long time. Okay, I will admit it. I will right my wrongs. I think I just had a conceived notion about it and all the wrong attitudes, and I think a lot of people share that it was just like an influencer festival. And then I think like working at one of my previous jobs, just like talking about the influence that it's had on music in general and like everything that's born out of it, the moments, the surprise performances, the tours that launch after, like then it just really became in my mind like, no, this is like a huge staple festival that's like still a tastemaker to this day. Like shame on you for having that attitude about it. So now, and the dance music that's built up and the stages they've introduced for dance music like over the more recent years is what got me really excited about it. So for me, like that still is the part of the lineup I'm most excited for. But when I saw 2025, I was like, I don't care who's on it. I'm going to go no matter what. But I was really thrilled because I am a Lady Gaga fan. I'm a Post Malone fan. Oh my God, who's the third headliner? And I don't even remember. I was,
Green
oh,
Day.
Green Day, Charlie XCX. So I was very happy because I was like, across the board, these are artists that I
Yeah.
all really like. But for you, you've seen a lot. Like, do you get excited about the lineup? You're like, I'm going no matter what. Like, how do you feel about the 2025 artists?
So yeah, I'm gonna go no matter what. It's
Yeah.
because it's once you're there, like you were saying, it's or it probably happens at other festivals that you go to. Is like when you're there, yes, it matters who's playing, but also it almost doesn't matter. Like the lights and the production is so badass, and the energy of the people around you, and maybe you're with the group and you the people you meet, like that's almost worth it on its own. You know, it's a whole separate conversation. But
Mm-hmm.
um, the lineup this year's pretty cool. Last year, I wasn't a big fan of the headliners, to be honest. They
Mm-hmm.
were a little bit underwhelming, but the undercard was super stacked last year. And you had the Coachella effect. So the Coachella effect is an artist playing Coachella, their streaming numbers go up, their Instagram
Mm-hmm.
numbers go up, and then they launch their tours. Or sometimes they drop a brand new song at Coachella, and then that song gets like a billion streams after because there's so many people watching, you know?
Yeah.
So some of those artists that blew up last year was Sabrina Carpenter. She
Mm-hmm.
played at Coachella, and then she dropped her album like the week after, and then that album just took off. Chaperone also performed at one of the smallest stages last year,
So
and then within
crazy.
like 3 or 4 months, she was headlining Lollapalooza or something. She had like 80,000 people on her
Yep.
set. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, what? That's crazy. I didn't even see it. I saw Sabrina, but and another thing you mentioned, Lady Gaga, things like that is like to go to a Lady Gaga or a Beyonce concert, you're paying $500-600 for like a whatever seat
Mm-hmm.
for 3 hours or 2 hours. Here, you're paying for 36 hours of music. You get to see artists if you like dance music or whatever you're into. You get to see those artists, but then you still get to see a once in a lifetime opportunity to see a Lady Gaga or whoever's playing that
Mm-hmm.
you might not be able to see them anywhere else.
Right.
And they give their best performance at Coachella because of the live stream. They know that millions of people are watching on YouTube. They
Mm-hmm.
know that people are gonna be posting about it. They bring like special guest performers, and they create these moments that just take over the internet. So it's just like it's just so cool to see all the
Damn.
options.
I'm so excited. Okay, so when you're actually there, because one of the biggest things is like navigating the festival and getting from stage to stage. So is it for those really big names? Like, if is it easy to pop around if you want to catch some of it, but then like go back to another stage, or is it like people are fucking going to be camping out the entire day for Lady Gaga? Don't even try to walk up there at the end.
So it just depends how if you really want to see her up close,
Mm-hmm.
you you don't have to
Go.
camp out all day. Like you could just go one artist before, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't really care to see her from, but you just want to see it because they have these giant LED screens that you could see them from really far back, and the
Mm-hmm.
speakers they have so many speaker towers, so the sound sounds really good. As long as you're close to a speaker, you could see the headlines from far away,
Cool.
and then maybe you watch 30 minutes of that, and then you go watch somebody else. So like I've done that before
Mm-hmm.
too. I don't stay for the full headliner. Like if I'm not like really a fan, like I want to see a little bit because they're a headliner for a reason. I want to see what they're gonna bring, how the stage is
Right.
gonna look. And then from there make your way to another stage, or I'm watching somebody else, and once that artist ends, then I'll catch the last 30 minutes of the headliner that's still on by the time I
Mm-hmm.
get there. So even if you're from far back, and there's people that they don't like crowds too. There's people that want to sit way far
Mm-hmm.
back. The There's a VIP beer garden that has like closer to the front left of the stage. You could just like hang out there, or the regular beer garden. Less crowded. It's away from the people, but you get to see the screen and like listen to the music. So it's
Nice.
that's what's cool about Coachella because you don't have to be close. If you want to be close, then yeah, that's when you have to camp out and fight for a
Mm-hmm.
spot. If you want to like see it real close.
Cool. I caught your tips. You were like, go up against the rail in front of the beer garden, like go up the front left, and you can get up there
Yeah,
closer than you think, which is how I always totally feel. I feel like the crowd looks super dense, and I never want to be the asshole like shoving to the front ever. But there are always like ways to get in from
yeah,
the side to like get up there more so than you think there is. So I wrote down that note that you had on there just in case I need
yeah.
that.
It's because like everybody just stops because you see the crowd stop, but it's
Mm-hmm.
like no, just follow the fence. Or I don't like to go through the middle of the crowd because you don't
Mm-hmm.
know how crowded it is. So you have to kind of go on the edges, find your way in there. But
Yeah.
it also, like you don't have to be up close as long as you get to hear the music and dance and be with your
You're gonna be
friends.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So while we're still on music, before we move into all like the tips and advice and prep, somebody asked on Instagram, do you have any favorite sets or like really, really memorable sets from the past, however many years you've been there?
So favorite sets. So the only time I camped out for 10 plus hours at the main stage was Coachella 2011. The first year I went for 3 days. So I saw Kanye 2011, and he did
Mm,
Kanye West. He did. It was when he had dropped My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, and him coming back after getting canceled for the first time.
yeah. Yep. Yep.
So yeah, it was a crazy set. And then the Strokes had played right before him. So it was the Strokes and then Kanye. It was Duran Duran, the Strokes, and then Kanye back to back to
Wow.
back. So that Kanye performance was crazy. I was there for like 10 hours. I'll never do that again. Like it's
Yeah.
not worth it being there for 10 hours, to be honest. And I was 18, so
Mm-hmm.
there's no way I could do that again. That one was one of my favorites. Um, to be honest, I really like Bad Bunny 2023. It's
Love
one of
it.
my favorite sets. That was super fire. The whole crowd was crazy. Um, Swedish House Mafia. I remember I saw him in 2012, and I
Wow.
remember it started raining. it was raining when they were playing. It was like raining, and I was just dancing. I was by myself too. It was one of those solo
Oh,
adventures.
I love
It
that.
was super fun. I remember seeing Flosstradamus in 2015.
Oh, that's
That
like
was one of my
peak.
favorite.
Yeah, peak
Yeah,
trap
like
moment.
super sick. I love Flosstradamus, and that was one of my favorite sets. Um,
Great range. Such a
I
range
don't
of
know.
acts.
Yeah, no, I watched. I like all kinds of music. It's
Hmm.
I don't really have. I have my favorite genre is like Mexican music. To be honest, like I listen to a lot of
Hmm.
Mexican music, but I'm open to everything because, and that's what Coachella's done to me. Is like I listen to French artists and I listen to just music that I never in my life would ever
For sure.
think of listening to, but just because like they're on the lineup, I'm like, oh, who's this? And I actually go through every artist on the lineup just to see, oh, okay, let me check it out, or if it makes
Hmm.
sense on the set times. I end up watching somebody before the artist I want to see, and then you're blown away. You're like, well, that's pretty cool. Like,
Right.
but yeah, those are some of the most memorable ones.
I love it. No, that's what I mean. That's the amazing thing too, because to your point, when you have like a Chapel Roan playing like not the biggest stage, like one of the smaller stages before she blew up, that's the interesting thing. It's like who is going to be that this year? That's why you got to walk around for some of the earlier sets and just kind of like expose yourself to a little bit of everything because you could catch that moment before it happens. And it is I'm doing a couple multi-genre festivals this year, and I'm excited for it for that reason because like I typically go to all dance music festivals. So it will be nice to like actually see different types of performers, and they're bringing their A game, especially like when
Yeah.
you get towards the headliner. So I'm excited to walk around and experience all of the stages. But okay, last question on the weekends. There was one question about there's always this conversation like, is weekend one better? Is weekend two? Do you have a take on that going both weekends? Are there actually differences in your opinion?
Yeah, there is. There's differences, but they're subtle. I don't know, but so weekend one, the way I like to think about it is like, do you remember those movie premieres back in the day? It was like midnight. I don't know if you got to
Mm-hmm.
see like Twilight or Harry Potter or Avengers, whatever. People go at
Yeah.
midnight, and it's like, oh, no one has seen this movie. You go in with everybody for the first time, and you're watching it. Their reactions. It's the same thing. It's like you walk in, you don't know what the art structures are gonna look like. You don't know what the set production is gonna look like. What kind of sets or guest performers. Weekend one usually has better guest performers, not better, but like more. I think a little bit more guest performers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's just like the grass is nice and green. People haven't like tore up the grass
Mm-hmm.
already, and the reason weekend one gets bad rap of like, oh, the crowd's not all, the energy's not all there, is because a lot of influencers, they do get flown into the festival with like all these brands,
Mm-hmm.
and they have activations outside of the festival. So they'll be at Revolve or all these other
Whatever
places,
party.
like day
Yeah.
parties, or they have obligations to be at. They go to the festival like at 7 8 p.m. They're only there for a few hours, and then they leave early because there's other after parties they got to go to and talk to people and meet their things. So,
Mm-hmm.
but for the average person who's actually there for the music, it's actually better weekend one because there's less people inside, so you don't have to camp out for getting close to the stage in certain stages. And the
Cool.
average person who's not an influencer, they're still super, they love music and they're gonna be dancing
Mm-hmm.
with you and the energy, so you're gonna have a good time weekend one. Now weekend two, it's like it's a little bit more people. I have a theory that they sell more tickets weekend two, even though it's supposed to be the same, but there's
Okay.
always way more people weekend two, like no matter what, like there's just way more
Interesting.
people.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the artists are better weekend two because sometimes there's mistakes, like weekend one, the jitters is the first time
Mm-hmm.
trying to say after the months of practicing, but the music is badass both weekends. It's just weekend two, it's like the second time, like, okay, we got the jitters out the way, let's just
We
party.
got this.
There's
Yeah.
and it feels like there's more people weekend two. So the energy from the crowd, it is definitely more, I guess, less influencers, but it's more
Mm-hmm.
like I feel like there's more people weekend two. So
Yeah.
either way, you're gonna have a badass weekend. Like there's no better weekend. Like every experience is different anyway, but it's
Mm-hmm.
just so badass. Yeah.
Love it. That's so cool. And it's cool to like be able to go to both of them as well. Like if I lived nearby, I feel like I would definitely be going to both as well, especially given the artists and like probably a lot of conflicts happening. It'd be nice to go back, like if you missed one of your favorite artists, and just completely switch up the sets that you see the second weekend too, to be able to see people you missed. That would definitely be like one of the biggest highlights for me.
The only thing is, sometimes I end up watching the same sets
Yeah.
weekend two. I'm like, oh, I had so much fun at that one. I got to see it again.
Got to
Like
do it
that shit.
again.
That
Yeah.
shit was badass. I'm gonna watch the same artist, but I try to watch different sets. But for this, for certain artists, I watch the same set, and
Beautiful.
it's even the same artist will play different songs too, so you
Love
get to
it.
see
Okay, cool.
a different set from the artist.
I would hope the dance music artists are definitely playing different sets each time.
It's
I
just
would hope.
pre-recorded. Nice.
Yeah, literally. Sick. Okay, so Coachella Prep. Let's get into it. We are about a month out. I mean, by the time this episode comes out, it's going to be a month to Coachella. I know I'm preparing in all different kinds of ways, but for people who have never been before, like, what should we know going into it to, like, either prepare our body, prepare mentally? Like, what are we walking into here?
Well, you said it there. Definitely walking. It's a lot of
Yeah.
walking. You're gonna be doing over 20,000, maybe 30,000 steps a day. It depends, some people, or just the dancing and in general. But it's
Mm-hmm.
so much walking from if you're day parking or shuttling in, even just to walk through all the security checkpoints and all your scanning of the bracelets. You're gonna be walking a lot, so make sure you guys are walking starting now. You got a month to go on daily walks, a couple miles a day, running, whatever you guys can, because once you're in there for that weekend, it's gonna feel like a lot. So walking, make sure your body's hydrated. Like don't party too hard. Like yes, party, but it's a 36-hour festival and it's hot.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hot. So just take that into account. Because some
Mm-hmm.
people, I've seen people like in the medical tent on Friday at 3 p.m. It just started and you guys already,
Yeah.
not only ruining your own experience, but ruining the experience for your friends and family that
Mm-hmm.
are worried about you instead of enjoying the festival.
For sure. Yeah, and you have the campgrounds, which opened the day before, right, on Thursday. So
Yeah.
they might have been partying since Thursday.
Yeah.
As well. Is there a pre-party or anything?
Well, yeah. So that Thursday night they have DJs playing,
Mm-hmm.
which now that I don't know if you saw, but they have Chris Lake weekend one, and they have
Mm-hmm.
Disco Dom weekend two.
Right.
So what I heard, they want to expand the camping experience to encourage people to camp,
Mm-hmm.
because one of the objections for people going to Coachella, of course, is the price. And one, that's the ticket, and then you got to buy a flight, and then you got to buy a hotel, and they're a little bit
Mm-hmm.
overpriced. So they're like, oh, if you just get a camping spot, you don't have to spend that much money. And
Right.
then if you camp, we're gonna give you like a special. Now they're bringing like big name DJs,
Right.
So they do have in the campgrounds they had this like they have a stage like in the middle. You can just walk in and there's DJs playing, and then after curfew, which is 12, or it depends on the day. I think it's 12 or
Mm-hmm.
1. Then they had silent disco because they can't the noise complaints of the city.
Nice.
So then you just put on the headphones. They have 2 channels. There's 2 DJs playing, like
Okay,
a
cool.
purple or a green channel, and then you just get to pre-party.
Love it.
That's inside the campgrounds, but I mean, people could pre-party at hotels or whatever too.
Cool. And so you live locally, so you're able to go back home, but you said you also get your group, I guess, also has access to the campgrounds. Is that just because, I mean, camping is a vibe no matter what. It depends however you guys feel about it. Like, it is a sense of community. It's easier access. You're able to go in and out. But yeah, why do you guys do the campgrounds?
Yeah, so if you don't have a camping spot, you could go into the festival with the regular pass. You're allowed into the campground.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I have a friend. So I haven't done it for a long time. I have a friend who's been doing it for a long time. That his mom lives locally. He lives in LA, but
Mm-hmm.
he'll get a camping spot. He'll leave his car, a car camping setup, and then his mom picks him up like at 6 a.m.
Mm.
Once like the festival's over, the after party, and then he goes to sleep at his mom's house, showers, whatever, comes back and gets it ready. So I was like, I'm gonna
Love
join
it.
you. Like I wanna experience this. So I we did it last year, and we had like 7 car camping spots. We actually lined up at 3:30 in the morning on Thursday morning,
Wow.
super early to get close to the entrance. So we
Mm-hmm.
didn't have preferred car camping. It was just regular. But if you go early, you actually get the first spots closer to the entrance. So we were like a 3-minute walk from the entrance of the festival to our car
Nice.
camping site, which
Cool.
makes it easier. And
Yeah.
then having everything there is just maybe you go in early into the festival and you want to come at like 4 or 5 p.m., reset, get ready for the evening sets,
Change, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever you need to do. So it definitely helps.
Do you because I think for people traveling from out of state, I'm coming in from New Jersey. It it was that initial question of like, what option do we want to do? Like, do we want to camp? I think for us, we wanted the comfort just because we knew it was going to be super hot. But then it's like Airbnbs, there's hotel shuttle packages. Like, there was a lot of options. Like, do you personally recommend anyway? Because, like you said, things can get overpriced. And I would imagine things like disappear very quickly because Stagecoach is the weekend after as well, right? So there's like a lot of people
Yeah.
booking. Like, do you personally recommend a certain avenue to take for like accommodations?
Personally, so it just depends on the budget. So I have
Mm-hmm.
a friend who's been doing she does like, it's called like festival campgrounds. It's a way, it's not even part of Coachella, but
Sure.
she has this ranch like 5 minutes from the festival, and she has like a pool and like massage parlors and everything. It's like a glamping
Nice.
experience.
Okay.
So she's been doing that, and like we actually started going there a few years. And to me, that's like a, if you're not camping at the festival, because maybe you don't want to deal with the, maybe it's too much. Some people don't like camping,
Mm-hmm.
but they have like little yurts like set up
Okay.
with
Yeah.
beds and stuff, like higher budget. But they also have like ready to go camping setups, and then you get to be like at a pool, like if you're at a resort, and they
Mm-hmm.
give you rides to the festival, and they have like massages and everything there. So I'm like, to be honest, that's what I always recommend people. She's my friend, but also like that's a better option than paying, thousands of dollars at these hotels that
Right.
they definitely price gouge. Like, right, it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
sucks that they just take advantage of the situation. So
Yeah.
that definitely car camping or tent camping, which is the cheaper option, and maybe you get an Airbnb with friends and
Mm-hmm.
split the cost. So
Okay.
it just depends on the budget.
Yeah. That I think that was one of the biggest. So we ended up doing an Airbnb that was walkable, which I'm to your point, the amount of walking is. I already know going into it. I'm like, I'm bringing cash and I'm doing the pedicabs. I give no fucks.
Yes.
I'm doing the pedicabs. I'm saving my feet. It's going to be a long time. I will definitely be sitting inside the venue as well. But that was definitely a factor. Like, is rideshare a complete and utter shit show? Should people avoid that, or should they leave early? Like, how is the rideshare situation as well?
Yeah, rideshare could if it's like the peak times, it does take a long time
Mm-hmm.
because there's just so much traffic. They gotten better over the years the way they kind of manage the traffic, but definitely the pedicab saves your steps. You got to take them. It's like
Mm-hmm.
15, I think around $15 per person, maybe
That's
20
not
bucks
bad.
with,
If you split it with
yeah,
friends, yeah.
yeah. So shouldn't be too bad, but the rideshare, that could be a little difficult if it's peak time. And then
Mm-hmm.
leaving the festival, if you want to avoid any traffic, you just want to get out, you leave before the headliner ends. It should be super fast. There's no traffic because everyone's still inside.
Mm-hmm.
And if you leave, and once the festival ends and you're like leaving with 100,000 people, might as well just
Yep.
take your time. Like,
Mm-hmm.
sit down, stretch, maybe talk to your friends or meet up
Get
with the friends
food.
that got lost throughout the day,
Yeah.
get some food. Take your time. You're gonna be waiting in your car anyway or whatever. So unless you're in a hurry and you have to go for work or something, like I like to take my time. I
Perfect.
actually talk to people after too, like, hey, what are you guys thinking of the weekend? And then just have
Mm-hmm.
conversations and things like that.
Cool. You're doing great. I'm like firing so many things at you, but I like to make these like the guide episodes like as informational as possible. So I think we're covering a ton. Okay, you did touch on weather. I do want to like lightly touch on weather a little bit more, and also outfits because I feel like outfits are a whole fucking category in themselves with people. I'm getting excited about it. I like dressing up for it, but I know there's like the actual practicality of like the heat and the dust and wanting to be comfortable when the temperature drops. So like what are your recommendations as far as like comfort and essentials to bring to actually like have a good experience and be comfortable?
For sure, comfortable shoes. I know fashion is like a big thing, but fashion is for some people, it's still the
Mm-hmm.
same thing. And what we talked about earlier about the influencers, what you see online is you see the top 1% of influencers because they come up to your feed because they have a
Mm-hmm.
lot of followers and they know how to get attention. But the average Coachella goer, maybe they're not dressing that crazy. They're still,
Right.
everyone's trying to look good and take photos and stuff. But for the most part, it's comfort. Just wear comfortable shoes. Like what I take is I always take a water backpack. You have to have a water backpack.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of refill stations throughout the festival. Staying hydrated, especially like you said, we're in our 30s. Like
Mm-hmm.
you gotta stay hydrated. So a water backpack. I like I don't like to take a sweater because I'm just gonna fight it if it gets cold because
Mm-hmm.
it does get cold at night. So in the daytime it could be 90 degrees between like 2 or 1 p.m. to like 5 p.m. It's maybe
Mm,
90 degrees, sometimes high 80s, sometimes triple digits if it's one of those hot
damn.
weekends. But
Yeah.
once it's like 7 p.m. and the sun goes down, the night could end probably like on the 70s, 60s. Then sometimes it gets windy. So people get really cold. So what you see is in the daytime, people are like, oh, like taking photos, half naked, like vibes. But at the end of the night, you see everybody walking around with sweaters,
Dying.
blankets.
Yeah.
Like people don't even care anymore. Like they already
Yeah.
ruined their outfits. So they have lockers by the entrance of the festival. So if you have a second outfit for the evening, or maybe a sweater or something for the evening, you could put your stuff there. And if you're camping, you could just go back to your campsite and get whatever you need.
Hmm. Yeah, perfect. I'm such a locker person now, so we had already like rented that because that's exactly what I thought. I was like, cool, we can wear the cute little outfits for the day, and then I'm getting into gremlin mode for nighttime, and I'm getting the sweater out or whatever I need to like put on for when it's cold. But okay, I want to talk a little bit about now actually during the festival. So we're at Coachella. You've talked a little bit about what it's really like. Like I think we've painted a picture about it. But what time do you like to get there? Like, are you an early person, like you're getting in doors open, or do you recommend like a certain arrival time?
I'm not really a doors open type of person unless it's like I really want to see somebody that's opening.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I had a friend that opened up one of the stages in 2000, a few years ago, and he played at 1, so I had to
Mm-hmm.
be there by 1. So that's like the only exception if I have to be there.
Have to be
But
there. Yeah.
for the most part, I go in like around 4, like around 4 p.m. That's the time I like to be there. And even those first sets, I try to be in the indoor stages. So Coachella has a few indoor stages that have AC. You
Mm.
go in there, the Yuma tent. You're probably familiar with the Yuma tent. There's
Mm-hmm.
it's just like a nightclub, and they just have DJs, and it's just fun. You're not in the sun. It's
Love
it's
that.
its
They have
own
AC
world.
in there? I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
they have
Oh,
AC, so
even
that you're
better.
away from the sun. They have AC. You don't have to be out. You don't have to be breathing the dust,
That.
anything.
Yep. That's
And
perfect.
then they have another one called the Sonora stage or Sonora tent. That one has smaller artists and also has AC, so you could be in
Mm.
there. The Heineken House, which they just released the lineup, that one is it doesn't have AC, but it's got a big shade,
Mm-hmm.
and it's one of those branded stages. So that one, staying away from the sun, you could go to that one as well. And it's kind of time to explore early. And if you go early, if you don't want to watch nobody till later, you could go to all the activations. They have sponsored activations. I
Areas,
don't know who's
yeah.
gonna. I think Colgate. I saw some ad that they're sponsoring something. They're gonna probably have an activation
There's a
this year.
couple. I looked at, yeah, because I was looking at who's sponsoring the festival. There's like Liquid IV, probably like all the alcohol companies. There's like some beauty and wellness brands that are going to be there. I'm like, just from what I do with my job, like that's also, I'm like literally going there to scout brand activations, to be honest with you, because I
Yeah,
help our team plan that. And I just can't wait to see on that scale because brands are such a big part of Coachella now. And they bring their A game and they have a lot of money if they're sponsoring Coachella. So I'm like, I cannot wait. I want to stop at every single brand activation to see what kind of like experiential marketing they're doing. So I've
yeah.
definitely, and they give you free shit too.
Free shit. Yeah, for sure. Take advantage of the free stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
There was one that was pretty funny last year. It was damn, it was Delight. It was like the cold foam for like
Yes.
coffee.
Yeah, they're sponsoring it
That
again, I think.
Yeah, they had it last year. So you go in there and they give you a shot of like a cup of coffee and then one of their flavors, but it was like free energy. Just like, oh hell yeah, you
Yeah.
just get a couple shots, go back. They had they had so many like HP has had stuff, Google has stuff, Coca Cola has stuff in the past,
Hmm.
Liquid IV. They had Electrolit. Electrolit had the last 2 years. I'm
Yes.
pretty sure they're again,
Hmm.
but the last 2 years they had this. It's like an activation. You walk in and then they give you a couple little shots of electrolytes to
Hmm.
hydrate, and it has AC as well. You walk in, it's like a little like a sensory, like to get your senses back, so you
Cool.
don't really hear the sounds of the festival. You walk around. There's like little flowers and things like that.
That's so cool.
Um, yeah, there's a lot of stuff to explore. So if you don't want to see anybody early in the day, I know people they want to see those artists like at 2 p.m. in the main stage, but to be honest, I really don't recommend it. Like, you're just gonna get sunburned, and it's
Yeah.
gonna ruin the rest of your day. To be honest, like watch it from
Fair
far
enough.
away under a tent or under the structures. They serve a shade as well. Whatever
Mm,
big structures they have, like it's a good spot to like just
nice.
not be getting cooked.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna be prepared with the sun cream and everything like that just to make sure I'm good.
Yeah.
They're not like absolutely dying. Okay, I had one question. So you mentioned a lot of stages, but do you have a personal favorite? Like, what's the one that I always watched on the live stream? I can't believe I'm forgetting the name of it. It's like the big overhang. Is it the Sahara tent?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yes, I
that's
think
my
that's what I'm
first
thinking
stage
of.
for sure.
Is it? Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
That's with the
Sahara Tent's
huge
the
like
best.
structure in the middle of it, right? That looks like a chandelier almost, that's like hanging in the middle of it. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
I think
it
it's the
was
Sahara.
yeah, it is, but it was the sun. So what it was last year, it was a sun, and then it had like the planets around it. So that's what it was.
Oh,
They're
okay.
gonna have something different. So the skeleton is actually there year round.
Okay.
They permanently built that thing. So that's the best stage. It's like the high energy stage. So
Mm,
historically, Coachella before like 2015, that stage was all just dance music. So that's
mm-hmm.
where like you had everybody. Um, if you didn't know none of the artists playing on the other stages, you would just go there and it just the
You vibe
lights and
every
it was just
time.
super sick. I've seen so many badass artists there: Martin Garrix, David Guetta, Duck Sauce,
It's
Flostradamus.
crazy.
Uh, Back in the day, you know. And
Damn.
now they started adding hip hop. So and hip hop and K-pop. So they started adding K-pop a few years ago. So now it's like for the people that like K-pop, there's probably like 7 to 10 artists throughout the festival in different stages that maybe they're targeting that audience that's gonna come
Mm-hmm.
watch those artists. Then they have hip hop, like 10 to 12 hip hop artists that target that kind of audience.
Mm-hmm.
Dance music actually takes over 50% of
It's
the
crazy,
whole
yeah.
lineup, so that's like the biggest audience. And then pop music has like certain amount of artists, so it's kind of cool how they pocket different artists for the genres
For
that
each
you
of the
like.
stages. Yeah. I love that though. I actually like want to see K-pop because I've never, and I was like, that's going to be crazy. The one, I think what pushed me over the edge, to be honest, I haven't said this yet. I think it's pronounced like Quasar. Is that right?
Yeah,
Quasar? That
Quasar,
stage? Quasar, yes. Quasar
Eric Prydz,
stage
Eric Prydz, back to back Anima
was
and
one of them,
Anima.
but that I didn't even know. Yeah. Cause that was like a new stage. They, like you said, additional artists that weren't on the lineup. And I was just like, oh my God. Okay. Now we're even talking my language even more here. So that's when I knew for sure last year. I was like, okay, we're buying tickets for 2025 because I'm so excited to see who they announce for it. I hope it's
And they
somebody
haven't
big.
dropped that lineup. So, well, that
Mm-mm.
new stage, yeah, it's so crazy because it's the first stage. As soon as you walk into the festival grounds, the first thing you see is always the Ferris wheel. So
Mm.
they have the Ferris wheel. It's almost like a marker to let people know that's the exit. Like
Okay.
whatever you are, that's the Ferris wheel. So that's actually a good meetup spot. There's always like a big Indio sign. It's like a
Okay.
colorful Indio sign behind the Ferris wheel. So I like to tell my friends like, hey, when the festival's over, let's meet here.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone, whatever they're doing, we'll find
Mm-hmm.
each other here before we get. That's a good way to meet people. But yeah. So now when you walk in on the right, as soon as you walk in, is the new Quasar stage,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it looks crazy, like the LEDs, but it's like they're trying to like mimic the palm trees and like the
Mm-hmm.
sky, so it's kind of like an optical illusion. Um, Last year it was Diplo, Michael Beebe, Rufus the Soul did a
Michael
3 hour
Beebe blew
set.
me away. I watched that. I was like, oh my God.
I know that was emotional. Um, Green Velvet, I forgot who else, but yeah. Anyway, it was like 6 badass artists, and that was just like extended 3 hour sets that people weren't even expecting.
Mm-hmm.
And where that stage is now, that's where the old Sahara tent used to be. And then they
Okay.
expanded the grounds into like another area of the grass area. So now the Sahara got moved all the way further. So
Mm-hmm.
now another thing to note is if you're trying to go from the Sahara tent to the main stage, it's probably like a 25-minute walk.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
something to think about too. It's like, oh shit, like I want
It's
to see that
far.
headliner, but then it's like, damn, I do have to make that trip, and I'm gonna be tired after that walk. So
Yep.
you kind of have to make those decisions. The rest of the stages aren't too far away from each other, but if you're going from the two longest points of the festival, is going to be probably like 25. Depends how
Wow.
fast you walk and everything, but
Okay.
yeah, it's a lot of
And
walking
that's if people don't get distracted by shiny objects on the walk. And then
on
you're
the
like,
way.
yeah, like everyone's like, I want to get food. Oh, there's an art installation. That's what always ends up
Yes,
happening. And you're like losing people on the
yes.
trek. And then it's just you at the end. You're like, what the hell happened to everyone?
Where's everyone at? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I can imagine I mean, talk about the art as well. That's like something that has always stood out to me, just like the different pieces they have. And Obviously, you see so many photos of it, but what do you think about all the art there? And do you have any favorite pieces?
Yeah, it's they always come up with some crazy designs. I got to meet a couple people that have made some of the structures in person, and like I talked to them, like it's just mind blowing, like how they would come up with the designs and some of them the materials that they use to create these structures. And what's cool about the city of Indio, they started getting because for years Coachella would take them to structures and they would just store them, have them. I don't know what they would
Mm.
do with them. They were just not being used, and that's it. But the city, they've been getting them over the last like 5 years. So throughout the city, there's old Coachella structures that you could visit throughout
Wow,
the city, just in random locations where you could go take pictures if you want or just see
that's
them.
so cool.
And now the city looks pretty cool because now there's like random Coachella structures all over the city.
That's
And
beautiful.
there was a badass one in 2023. It was like this. It was like a 3D, like it was like LED, but it almost looked like a giant like Rubik's cube, but like I don't know how
Mm.
to describe it. But that was one of my favorite ones. There was a badass one in 2022, which was made out of like PVC pipes. In the daytime, it just looked like a cool circle, but
Mm-hmm.
at night there was like a projector that had like lights on it, so that shit was glowing. And then when you get closer to it, there was a DJ in the center playing,
Oh
and then
wow.
the guy that was DJing was actually the architect who made the whole thing.
Oh my God.
So he was there playing for like 4 hours and under his structure, and it was in
That's
between
so cool.
stages. So people were passing by while you're going to another stage. There's a DJ playing, so you just dance for a little bit and then you move on to the next stage. Like,
Sick.
there's like experiences there. I remember 2016 they made like giant chairs. It was like 30-foot chairs. Just you're in the field and there's a giant chair in the middle of the field. Like what? Um, Back in the day, a few structures were moving structures. So you had a caterpillar. I think it was a caterpillar
Mm.
on Friday, and then by Sunday it turned into a butterfly. They changed it to a butterfly,
Oh wow.
but it was like
I have to look that
motorized. So
up.
there was a guy in front of it, like guiding it. So it was actually moving. So throughout the festival,
Wow.
the butterfly was moving throughout, and people would take pictures. The astronaut too, which is like one of the most iconic ones.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
That one was moving as well. So that one, like, it would move throughout the festival. They would move it. You take
That's so
photos with it.
cool. Oh, I can't wait to see this shit in person. That the butterfly thing now that I'm looking at is incredible. That's
Yeah.
so yeah, that's like such a huge yeah, all of it is just like really, really cool. I can't wait to see what they do with it this year. Okay, question about food and drinks. That was a big thing that came up. So I think in the past, what one thing I got confused about was you weren't able like when you wanted to drink, it was in sectioned off areas, but correct me if I'm wrong, last year they lifted that and now you can walk around with drinks, alcohol
Yeah.
drinks. Okay.
So you have to get a like an ID check. So before you even enter the festival, they already have ID checks. So like it kind of speeds up the process. But even if you don't
Mm,
get it before inside the festival, before you the beer gardens, there's always like ID check places.
cool.
And then you go in, you go to the beer garden, and you were only allowed to drink in the beer garden. And then the beer gardens, they had some. Almost every stage had a beer garden where it
Hmm.
has views to one of the stages. Like you could listen to artists and stuff. But last year, you could actually walk around with your beer now or your drinks.
Okay.
So it makes it a lot better because it kind of sucked. Like, oh, I want to go.
See
I don't want to
something.
just sit here from the side.
Yeah.
Like I want to get closer. But they finally lifted it last year, so yeah, it's just everybody's just walking
Can walk
around.
around. Okay.
Fill up your water backpack. Nice.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. I was like, because for people who like want to go someplace, I'm like, people are probably like going in there, pounding their drink, and then leaving, which is probably like
Yeah.
getting there faster. But no, that's better that you can be able to just like walk around and explore. And I know, like, do you do VIP or do you do GA? Have you like any thoughts on which experience people should go for?
So I've done both. To be honest, even after all these years, I still do mostly GA
Mm-hmm.
because VIP, the only thing it gives you, there's no closer view to the stages. It's that beer garden that's closer to the stage, or so the perks of like faster bathrooms, faster food, less
Mm-hmm.
people, those kind of things like that save you time. But to be honest, not super worth it. The only thing that's the coolest thing is would be the Rose Garden, which is next to the Mojave tent, which is one of the stages.
Okay.
It's just you go in there and there's like a bunch of roses as views of that stage. They have their own private bathrooms, things like that.
Mm.
And that's where they do this thing called is it outstanding in the field? No. I think, or
Yes.
something.
Yeah, I'm looking
Yeah,
at the map. Mm-hmm.
outstanding in the field is like a chef curated like
Oh wow.
meal. It's like
Mm-hmm.
$300 extra, and then
Oof.
it's like a giant table. I've never done it actually, to be
Oh, I
honest.
just saw a picture of this actually, and
Yeah,
that's so
they
funny you
dropped
said
the
that.
video
Okay.
today. They dropped the
Okay,
video
that's
today
where I
about it.
saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
is
cool.
this like experience of like world class chefs, and you get to eat like a 5 course meal or something.
Wow.
And that's in the VIP area of the Rose Garden. Um, and the other cool thing about the VIP is on the Yuma tent, the one that's like an all dance indoor with
Mm-hmm.
AC. They have its own VIP entrance, which saves you a lot of time, especially for big names. Or if you go later at night, the Yuma has a big like those snake entrances that take forever. But the
Mm-hmm.
VIP, you go all the way to the front and you don't have to wait. So that's like the
Nice.
only thing that's really worth it. But to be honest, for double the price, I don't think it's worth double the price,
You could just do
in my
J.
opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, see, this is good. We're getting to the point. No, I love that. I think
The only one that's worth it though, it's called an artist guest pass. And it's those are hard to purchase. You really can't buy them unless you buy like the super exclusive I think it's called Safari Camping. It
mm-hmm.
costs like $10,000. You get a camping, like a private camping with like Wi-Fi. It's almost like a little
It's
house,
crazy. Yeah.
and then you get 2 guest artist passes. But other than that, like friends and family of the artist or the labels, it's a lot of like
If you know someone. Yeah.
that's where you'll run into. That's where like Taylor Swift and all these people are. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's where they're watching the artists. And those I've got to do it twice. It's super cool,
Mm-hmm.
and that one you could go behind the stage and like it's that one's
Like the
like the
all
only one
access
that's
pass.
worth it. Yeah,
Yeah.
you could
Fair
buy them
enough.
on. Some people get scammed, so it's hard to trust
Mm-hmm.
where to buy them because it's super rare. But they're around like 2,500. Sometimes people pay 3,000 for one of those bands.
Damn. Is it, I mean, do you set a budget for yourself? Because obviously, I think that's also something is like people, it is expensive. Obviously, it's an expensive hobby no matter what. But I feel like you could obviously be more on a budget than not if you really go into it and not try not to overspend on food and drinks and like any additional expenses. But yeah, how much are you spending in a day if you could think of it? And like how much does food cost? You said there's free water, so that's amazing. So you're not like spending there, but I would imagine you could rack it up quickly if you're buying a lot of drinks.
Yeah, yeah. Now I've had some years where like once the festival was like, damn, I can't believe I spent that much. It was
Yep.
I think 2019. My cousins were here from Chicago, and like they were buying rounds, and then we were buying rounds, and I was like, yeah, let's just keep going, and we were just buying a bunch of stuff, and I was like, damn, I spent way too much money. But
Mhm.
for the most part, I try to like maybe buy one meal
Mhm.
just so you don't pass out because it's
Yeah.
so much, it's so draining. And what I usually eat is something protein, usually like some chicken and rice type of bowl,
Mhm.
something that's like, or maybe an acai
Filling.
bowl, yeah,
Yeah.
something just to give me energy, and then or I'll eat before going into the festival and then eat a small snack inside. And then
Mhm.
drinks, just depending, like you could say your budget. I'm only gonna spend $100 per day, and then you
Mhm.
know that you're only gonna spend $100, and you gotta like force yourself to not spend money. I
Right.
guess it just depends. You could really make it happen, but it's so easy once you're in the festival. It's just like I'm just gonna buy this and you buy that,
Mhm.
buying a lemonade, and the lemonades are pretty cool. They're
I was say that's
probably
gonna
like
get
50.
me. I will be getting the
Yeah,
lemonade.
lemonades are worth it. They're the best
Yeah.
lemonades you'll ever taste. It's like
Oh,
it's super dry. You're like,
love
fuck
it.
it. Oh, and you guys gotta wear bandanas. That's the number one tip too. Is like bandana, something to cover your face because it's grass. The whole festival's grass, so people are picking up dirt. Maybe if you're watching the artist, you don't have to wear it. But if you're walking from stage to stage, always cover your face, even if it doesn't look like it's dusty. All those
Mhm.
micro particles in the air just clog up your stuff. So always cover your face.
Beautiful. Okay, cool. No, that's kind of what I figured as well. I was like, I'm probably gonna get like an actual like mask that adheres to my face just for walking around because you do feel the difference when you wear it and when you don't. And
Yeah,
even like the boom boom sticks or something that can kind of like clear out that like helps me sometimes. So I will definitely be taking you up on that tip. And as we're
yeah.
kind of like rounding out the episode here towards the end, I did get some listener questions from Instagram, and I did also you've been so many times, any other like insider secrets, like are there secret stages, are hidden gems that we should know about?
Well, there's like speakeasies. They always add like 2 or 3 speakeasies, and that one you have to go like on Reddit or like where people kind of talk about how to get in. It's always
Okay.
different every year. So that one you almost have to do a little research. And to be honest, it's cool, but it's like I'd rather just watch a badass set over here.
Yeah.
Like, and the same thing with the after parties. There's a lot of after parties and stuff. Maybe we could talk about it in a little bit, but
Yeah.
um, other secret stuff. Definitely try to watch artists at different stages so you could
Mhm.
experience the different stages. Because I know people like that just stay at the Yuma all day, like or the Do Lab. Oh, the Do Lab. Okay, that's the
I know
one I
we
want
didn't
to talk
talk
about.
about that. Yeah.
The Do Lab. So the Do Lab, it's its own section of the festival, and well, you know about the Do Lab, but
Mhm.
they always bring some crazy artists at the end of the night, like surprise sets. So the last few years we had like Odessa, and then a few years ago was Skrillex, and then last year was DJ Snake did a secret hip hop show, a hip hop set,
Mhm.
but also Billie Eilish and her brother did a secret set
Right. Yeah, I remember she was on that
last
stage.
year.
That's crazy.
So this is the 20-year anniversary of the Dulab and Coachella. They were posting
Oh,
20-year
wow.
anniversary. So there's gonna be some big names. I have no idea who, but if you just want to be at the Dulab towards the end of the night, they sometimes leak it like around 8 or 9 p.m. You start seeing, or they sometimes post it in the Coachella app, like now added this,
Mhm.
But definitely the Dulab, like that's something to take a. And then I wonder what they're gonna do because last year they did that forest. It was
That
like
was
those.
beautiful.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
so cool.
Mhm.
So I don't
That
know what
was
they're gonna do
another
this year.
one that like in itself I think yeah, like literally just like the designs and everything, especially for the dance music stages, just like pushed it over the edge for me. But I will definitely be looking out for that. This is why it's so hard because like this is why you go back so many times. And I feel the same way about EDC. Like you just cannot do it all. There's just no way to fit it all in those 3 days. But you want to try. I definitely will try and do at least one night where I'm ending at the Do Lab just so I can catch one of those like surprise performances for sure because that stage just looks beautiful to me. Talk about the after parties actually a little bit because that's one thing I don't really know anything about. Do they happen on the festival grounds or is this like surrounding areas that they're at?
The only thing after the festival is the silent disco. So that's the only thing that's happening in the campgrounds. It's
Mm-hmm.
the silent disco. So they're kind of partnered with Coachella away from the festival. It's called After Work, and they do it at a local airport that's maybe 10-15 minutes from the festival.
Mm-hmm.
And they get a lot of the Coachella artists. So last year, Dom Dalla played, and John Summit, and Clooney, and I forgot who else that was on the lineup last year. So this year, we're probably gonna get like Sarah Landry, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We'll see.
Some bigger
We'll,
artists. Okay.
yeah, big artists, and the tickets are usually like $80-$90, and they go all night. So as soon as the festival ends, you go there. It's an airport. You park, and it's like a big airport hangar, and they have a stage there, and then it's like some of the artists that were just playing Coachella with everybody
Mm-hmm.
that's leaving the festival. There's people that that don't go to Coachella that just go to that as well.
Right.
So that's one that you could buy a ticket to. Um, there's other ones called like the Zenyara. There's a lot of different parties by different companies. Like Don Julio will have his own after party. Other
Mm-hmm.
alcohol drinks will have their own after parties, and those you have to be invited. So you can't buy tickets. Someone has to invite
Mm-hmm.
you,
Okay.
industry, or
Is that the
somebody.
same as like the Neon Carnival thing?
Yes,
That's an invite only. Okay.
that's an invite only as well. Neon Carnival.
That's Revol. No, who is? I think it's something like that, right? Neon Carnival. No, who puts on Neon Carnival?
Neon Carnival, it's its own thing. I don't know who who runs it, but it's its own thing. So I went to it last year.
Okay.
It's like a little fair. They have like the fair games, and they have artists playing, and a lot of celebrities go there. But
Mm-hmm.
there's people that leave the main festival early to go to that. But to be honest, it's like it's not worth it. Like
Yeah.
there's $1 million production, and the
Right.
artists doing their best sets of the year here, and you're gonna go to an after party because there might be
Right.
someone you might see or something. Like it's not worth it to me.
Mm-hmm.
And but it's still, if you get invited, check it out after the festival, but don't like skip the festival to go to
To go
that,
do
in my
that.
opinion.
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay, cool. Okay, let me see if there's any last questions here. I feel like we covered so much of this already,
I
but
could go for another 2 hours if you want.
I appreciate it. No, we're being thorough. I fucking love this. I'm like, what did I miss? Okay, in general, we didn't touch on this, but how have your interactions with the crowd been? How's the crowd at Coachella? Because is it all ages or is it like 16 plus?
It's all ages. You see little kids all the time.
Oh my
You see
God.
parents with babies. You see parents with strollers. You're walking around. There's like kids running around with their parents. Like you just see little
Love
kids running
that.
around. Usually at the K-pop, depends on the artist. Well, this
Mm-hmm.
year they have Yo Gabba Gabba,
I
so
saw, yeah.
there's probably gonna be a lot of kids at that one. From I saw Blackpink in 2019. No, 20,
Was it post
20.
COVID?
It was before COVID.
Okay.
2019. So I took my niece. She was 16. So I took her to see Blackpink because she liked K-pop at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a lot of kids, like a lot of younger people watching the
Mm-hmm.
K-pop, and that's what's cool. It's like, and then I met this one couple. They recognized me from my channel. They're like, "Hey, what's up?" We're talking to them.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, "Oh, this is like our 7th Coachella. We brought our kid in the morning. Then we left them with the nanny, and then they came
Mm-hmm.
by themselves." So it's all
Nice.
ages. Safe. The people are super chill, super like it's literally the nicest crowd because I don't know if it's because it costs so much money and everyone's just there to have the best time. Like
Mm-hmm.
no one's there to ruin their own experience or
Right.
you're always gonna have the 1% bad actors, of course, like they get
Right.
too drunk or something. But overall, I think everyone's super nice, and then you get to meet people from all over the world, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think the crowd's always super fun.
Hey, I'm so excited for that. That's what I was thinking too. I want to like either do a video or something where I ask everybody like where they're from because I'm just curious. Like I'm sure there's a huge population from California, but it's a destination festival as well. So it'll be cool to kind of like see who's out there and then I like people watching. I'm excited to run into like my favorite
Yeah.
YouTubers and stuff like that. Um
Yeah, you see, I've seen in the past, like in the crowd is crazy because there's gonna be celebrities and famous people around you, and you don't even know. Like you might not
mhm.
know. There might be someone next to you that's like super famous in their own thing, but you don't even know who they are.
Right.
So I've seen Paris Hilton walk around like a few times, not even once. I've
Mhm.
seen her. I saw her last year. She was walking around the just in the GA area, and then people are like following her, trying to take photos. And then
Sure, yeah.
I saw Jaden Smith. I've seen David Dobrik and Liza Koshy back in the day.
mhm.
I remember I was recording. I didn't even know who they were, but they were all dancing in a group. And then I didn't know who they were at the time. And then I showed the video to like my niece, and she's like, "Oh, that was David Dobrik." And I was like, "What?" Like they were
Yeah.
all right there next to me. And it'll happen, it's like, especially at night, you're really in the daytime. It's easier to spot people, but
mhm.
once it's night, like you said, people are wearing sweaters. There's so many people around you. You're focused on your own experience.
Right.
You just never know who you're gonna run into.
That's so funny. Yay. Okay. This got me so ready. I honestly cannot wait. I think just the fact that even leading up to it, there's still some surprises at this point we don't know about. We don't have the map. Like, I'm just really, really looking forward to it after hearing such good things. So, thank you again for all of your videos and anything else you want to leave people with. And please plug your channel. Like, where can people connect with you and watch all your stuff?
Okay. Well, you can follow me on social media, Coachella Angel, on Instagram, Twitter, or X, TikTok, and I suck at TikTok. I gotta focus on TikTok, but I hate that platform. I don't know why. Just because maybe I've been on YouTube, I don't like using TikTok, but I'm gonna focus on TikTok. Coachella Angel, all social medias, and Angel Chavez is the name of my YouTube channel, and I also have a podcast, Angel Chavez Podcast. So, and you guys could just find me. If you guys have any questions, send me a message. I will be dropping videos too once the map drops because there might be some changes. I'll make a
Mm-hmm.
map breakdown based on like just what I know, and then the set times are gonna drop. I got a few videos coming out in the next 30 something days before the festival, so
Can't
I'm
wait.
excited to be back.
Amazing. I know. I'm going to link everything down below, guys. Please go show love and support, follow. And again, if you see Angel walking around at the festival, say hi, check him out. Do you do any meetups or is it just like you run into people just in the wild?
I've done meetups. I did meetups in 2023, and people show up and everything, but I feel bad. Like I don't want them to miss out on the amazing music so they could see me. Like I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, no, like just if you see me, we'll say what's up and we'll
For
talk. But
sure.
I don't want to like take people's time away. To be honest, it's like Go
Fair
watch that
enough.
artist. They're badass,
Love it. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so we'll just have to run into you in the wild. But okay, guys, I'm going to plug all his information down below. Thank you again so much. We are at Rave Culture Cast on all of the platforms. If you guys want to connect with us, rate, review, subscribe, do all the things, and share this with your Coachella fam so they can be informed this year and get excited for the festival. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Angel, for coming on. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye,
Thank you
guys.
guys.